Welcome back to day 4 of online workshop in human rights law. Today we are looking at state responsibility and human rights obligations. This is your host, Dr. Tulipo Mwenfumbo, and remember that this training is coming from the book entitled Fundamentals of Human Rights, written by Dr. Tulipo Mwenfumbo. To order this book, you can contact +260 976 1812 53 +260 976 1812 53. Remember also these programs are sponsored by UNAP. The UNAP, it's a program, it's an online platform which houses different universities, and you can do any degree course or diploma course through UNAP. Let's dive into the today's topic, where we are looking at it, the responsibility of the state and the obligation. So states have primary responsibility for protecting and promoting human rights. Human rights obligations are derived from international law, including treaties, customary law, and general principles. So we discussed about the origin, or where we get the human rights law. So now we will discover that the human rights law comes from different sources, which is the international law, and which is the international treaties, customary law, and general principles. We also said that you know what is right and what is not right. So now, what are the state responsibility in promoting human rights? So states are responsible for actions and omissions that violate human rights. So each country, that's why in every constitution of the country, there is the Bill of Rights chapter. So now that is the obligation, and that is the responsibility of the nation to uphold human rights and to ensure that the human rights are upheld, and they are responsible to protect the dignity and also the rights of their citizens. And not only the rights of their citizens, but the rights of humans. So the state responsibility include acts of government officials. There is the government, each government should have officials that are designated to be responsible over the human rights. That's why now the president always must report to the United Nations on how they are adhering to human rights obligations. And also there must be each state must come up with the acts of parliament that will be able to state and give authority and give rule to that country over the responsibility of the country in issues of human rights. Actions of state organs like the police, the military, the human rights commissioner, consumer protection, the tribunals, police complaints commission, and many other responsible state organs that work in promoting the human rights. Failure to prevent or investigate human rights abuses, the government or the state is held responsible for not doing that. Now, what are the human rights obligations? The human rights obligation that each state is given: number one, respect. State must respect human rights and freedoms. You know, the challenges that we have in the people in authority, sometimes they want to abuse their rights, because they can be able to do anything, and they can be able to command the military or the police. So they want to destabilize, or they want to to stand on people's rights. That's why we have got the courts like the International Criminal Court or the International Court of Justice, so that people are protected. And these courts are there, and also the international organization, as we talked about, the instruments and mechanism of the human rights obligation. So the states are held accountable, they are held responsible to respect their freedoms and human rights. Also, the states must protect individuals from human rights abuses by third parties. So it is the responsibility of the states to protect every individual from abusers and abusers from human rights. That's why we have got human rights commission. Now we have got police. We have got different complaints here. Police complaints commissioners. We have got consumer protection, and all those. They all work towards the human rights obligation. So the state has that obligation to protect individuals from the abusers of human rights. Then to fulfill, the states must take steps to realize human rights, including providing essential services and creating an enabling environment. When you say the state has got also some obligation like rights to clean water, rights to water, to employment, there are what is called political, civil, economical, and all those rights. It is the obligation of the state that they should adhere to those rights. The key human rights obligation: civil and political rights protect life, liberty, and security of persons. So when we talk about civil and political rights, they protect the life of a person. Each person has got the right to life, liberty, and security of persons. Then when we talk about economical, social, and cultural rights, which the government is obligated to protect, it ensures access to education, healthcare, housing, and social security. So it is the responsibility and the obligation of the government or the states to ensure that people have got economical, social, and cultural rights by ensuring education, healthcare, housing, and social security. Then there is non-discrimination. So the government is obligated to ensure that there is no discrimination, either race, gender, religion, tribe, and all that. So prohibition of discrimination based on race, gender, religion, or other tribalism and what, or everything. So it is the duty of the state to ensure that they protect all those mechanisms. Mechanisms for holding states accountable. Number one, there are international treaties. The international treaties makes each nation has signed to those treaties. So states can be held accountable through international treaties such as ICCPR and ICESCR, and also international courts. So the states are obligated that they are held accountable by international courts. States can be held accountable through international courts, such as the International Court of Justice, the International Criminal Court. So they are held accountable for whatever they do or whatever happens in that nation. So as citizens and as promoters and advocates of human rights, we have got also rights to take the states to these international courts. Human rights bodies. States can be held accountable through human rights bodies such as the United Nations Human Rights Council. So they are also responsible to report to such as the United Nations Human Rights Council. What are the challenges that we face in the states in their obligation to human rights implementation? So challenges states may face challenges in implementing human rights obligation, including lack of resources and capacity. Sometimes it is the abuse of power that may cause the nations or the states to fail to adhere to the human rights obligation. So sometimes there are resources, and also other times just the negligence of the government, and also it becomes sometimes very difficult for the people, like individuals, to report the states on the human rights abuses, and also to go to the international courts to sue the nation for human rights obligation. What are the opportunities for promoting human rights? States can use human rights obligations to promote development, sustainability, and security. When people understand their rights, and when the people have got rights, people becomes responsible, and there is less of there is more security in that country, because civil wars are not much. They cannot come when there is peace, when people are happy of their rights, when the government is giving the people their rights. So that's why there are opportunities. If the government wants everything to be okay, development to be there, and also stability and security, human rights are a cornerstone, or they are the backbone of peace in the nation. They are the backbone of development in the nation, and they are the backbone of stability in the nation. So, in conclusion, today we have talked about 5 things. We have talked about the responsibility of human rights and human rights obligation of the state or the country, and we have talked about state responsibility. We have also talked about human rights obligation. We have also talked about key rights obligation, and also mechanism for making the state accountable. And we have also concluded on looking at the challenges and opportunities that are in human rights. Thank you so much. Let's meet in the next lesson, where we are going to conclude the workshop with human rights in practice. Remember, this program is sponsored by UNAP, and you can do different courses. You can do Bachelor's of Law, you can do Bachelor's of Peace Building and Conflict Resolution, you can do Bachelor's of Psychology, Bachelor's of Diploma of Paralegal, and many other courses. Thank you so much. Remember, this program, or this workshop, comes from the book of a book entitled Fundamentals of Human Rights, written by Dr. Tulipo Mwenifumbo. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Shalom, shalom.